this is the holiday season. This is the time where we do Christmas songs. And the song that we're gonna do this week is called I'll Be Home for Christmas. We're gonna be in the key of C major. We're gonna do two different takes. Take one, we're gonna get into some of the basic structure of the song. We're gonna break that down while we're doing certain things, different chords and progressions using the melody. And then in take two, we're gonna enhance the song by showing you some different passing chords and different nice voicings that you can do to spice it up. All right? So we're gonna be in the key of C major. Let's check out the scale and the number system. So C is the 1, D is the 2, E is the 3, F is the 4, G is the 5, A is the 6, B is the 7, and then we're back at the 1, C. So that's our number system and scale for C major. So the first thing that we're gonna do is start off with this melody. And the melody is gonna go from C to B to D, C, G, G. Then the next part is A, G, B flat, A, D. So one more time. Now, the chord progression that we're going to play is a 1 to the 6 to the 2 to the 5. Then we're going to go back to the 1 to the 6 to the 2. So that's the chord progression. 1, 6, 2, 5. 1, 6, 2. So the first chord that we're going to play is on the 1. Now we're in the key of C major. So most of the time when you're in a key like C major or any other major key, the 1 is most likely going to be major. So if you're starting on the 1, most of the time you're going to start off with a major chord. Now, what type of major chord you play is totally up to you, because first off, you have to have the melody. And we know that the melody for the first chord is C, because the melody is this. The first note that we played was C, right? So the first chord is on the 1, on the C, and then we have the C melody. So first off, you should know that, a basic C major chord is C, E, and G. So we're playing a C major chord. How you want to voice it is up to you, but you have to have the C up top as the melody. So that's going to be up top. So automatically we have to start off with like a C major first inversion chord. Now, you can do different things when you voice major chords. And one thing I like to do is look at my left hand. So if I know the 1 is C, right? One of the first things that I do is add maybe an octave to make it sound fuller. So now we have 2 C's. And you can't do this in every key. Sometimes it might be a little bit too low and it might sound too muddy. But that's one of the first things that you could do to beef up your chord. Now, another thing that you could do is you can add the 5 of the tone that you're on. So we're on C. So instead of just playing C and C, you could play C, G, and C together. And that is a power chord, which is the 1, 5, and 1 of the root note for C. So if we were to take the same concept to F, we would play the 1, 5, 1 of F, which would be, so if we were playing an F major chord, we could play a power chord in our left hand. And this works for both major chords and minor chords. All right, but you have to pick and choose when you want to do this or when to use this. So we're on the 1. So now, another thing that I might do is I might add the 9. And adding the 9 is pretty much the same thing as adding the 2. When you start to extend chords and add color, when you add to a major chord, a common thing to do is to add the 2, which is the 9. So if we look at a C major scale, C, D, and if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, D is the 2, but that's also the 9. So if you were to extend the chord and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, once you start to get into major 9s and then you get into 11s and 13 chords, you pretty much take the scale and you extend past the root. So you would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So the 2 is going to be the 9. If we were to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 2 is the 9. The 4 is the 11th. And then the 6 is the 13. So if you think about multiplication, 2, 4, 6, for a shortcut, the 2 is always going to be the 9, the 4 is always going to be the 11, and then the 6 is always going to be the 13. So when you play major chords, you can add the 9 to the chord, and that's going to give you some nice color just by adding, really it's the 2. Just remember, the 2 is the 9, it's the same thing. So if we do that up here, with the C as the melody, we can actually add D to the C major chord, and this is still a C major add 9. It's just inverted up, and it sounds very pretty, okay? Now, as far as the left hand goes, when you play major chords, another thing that you could do is you can play the 1, 5, 1 of the tone that you're on. We're on C, so C is the 1, G is the 5, and then we have C again. You can also play the 9 in the left hand too, so you can play 1, 5, 1, 9. Sometimes you could play 1, 5, 9, and 10, and that sounds good too as well. But it's hard to do this for certain keys, like a half step up, 1, 5, 1, 5, 9, and 10 for D flat. It's impossible because you have to use your thumb to double up on that 9 and the 10, which is D and E. And that's a 9th and 10th interval, 1, 2, 3. So I don't want to get too technical, but basically C, G, D, and E. So you have options. You can either just play C in the left hand, you could play C, G, and C. You could play C, G, C, and D. You could play C, G, D, and E together. And they're going to give you all different types of color in combination with the right hand. So that's how it sounds with C, G, D, and E in the left hand, and then D, E, G, and C in the right. Or you could do it like this. Or you can make it just a full chord by playing C, D, E, G, and C. But all in all, what I'm trying to show you is that you're keeping the melody the same, and the type of chord remains the same. It's still a C major chord. It's just a matter of how full or how open you want the chord to sound. You can even take out the C in your left hand, and you can also take out the E, and you can play D, G, and C. That's going to give you a more open sound. And this is still a C major with an add 9 because you still have all the components of that chord with the C, G, D, and E in the left hand. So it's the same chord, you're just voicing it different, okay? So that's the 1. So we're going from the 1, you have different options of how you can voice that chord, depends on how you feel. And then we're going to go to the 6, but we use B as a melody. So we're going to go from the 1 and then play B, and that's going to take us to the 6th tone. So for this chord, this is based off of a minor chord. A lot of times when you go to the 6th tone in any particular key, it's going to be some type of minor chord. In this case, we're in the key of C major. A is the 6th tone, and this is based off of an A minor 9 chord. I'm sorry, A minor 11. So if we look at an A minor chord, we would have A, C, and E, right? And if we add the G, that makes it a minor 7. And if we add the B, that makes it a minor 9. And then if we add the D, that makes it a minor 11. So this is an A minor 11 chord, but it's voiced with the melody up top. Remember, the melody is C to B to D. So D has to be the top note. So we're gonna voice the chord around that. So I have A, E, and G in the left hand, and then E, G, B, and D in the right. So the left hand, E, G, B. Oh, that's wrong. I said E, G, B. A, E, G. I don't know where I got that from. A, E, G, and then E, G, B, and D. Now, there's a really altered chord that is used in this song, and it's this. So instead of playing this on the sixth tone, it sounds really pretty, you can go to the altered chord. So I'll show you what I mean. So normally it would be this. Okay? So instead of going to the sixth, you can go to the flat 3. So what I have on the flat 3 is pretty much a D major chord over E flat. It depends on how you want to look at it. It's almost diminished too, because if you play E flat, G flat, and A, that's an E flat diminished chord. But then when you add the D, I don't know. It looks like a D major chord over E flat, but it's diminished still some type of way. So that's the chord that you could play on the flat 3. So in any key, just know that you're going to go to the flat 3, and then the chord that you're going to play is a half step below that. So this is a D major chord over E flat, and E flat is the flat 3, right? In the key of C, 1, 2, 3. So you flat the 3, you got E flat, and then the type of chord that you're going to play is a half step away from that tone. So we're playing a D major chord over E flat. So it sounds like this. Whoops, here we go. Or instead of doing the E flat, you can go to the 6th. It sounds prettier, doesn't have as much tension. Or now, as far as the left hand goes, it's up to you how you want to voice this chord. Every note that's in the right hand can be played in the left hand. So if you want to make it sound fuller, you could play E flat and A in the left hand. You could play E flat, G flat, and A. But I don't like how that G flat sounds in there. You can also play C in the chord. You can play E flat, A, and C. So we have E flat, A, C in the left hand, E flat, G flat, A, and D in the right. So you got options. Either go from the 1 to the 6 to the 2, or you can go from the 1 to the flat 3 to the 2. Okay, so now we're going to the 2. So before you get to the 2, you're gonna play C. Here it is. That melody is gonna take us to the chord on the 2.